Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is episode 109 on December 5th, 2018. I am Clyde. Today I am joined by Jimmy Trammell.
Hello everybody.
Matthew Ross.
Hi everybody.
And Michael Aston.
Howdy y'all.
How is everybody doing?
Oh, you had to ask that question.
We do.
We
have
to
ask that every episode.
Well, let's all answer except for Michael.
Yeah, let's not ask.
Let's not ask Michael.
No. Michael, before
Idaho
the show
didn't make
started,
it into a bowl game. We found out today.
Yeah, Michael before the show shared with how his week is going so far, and just to put it nicely, not so good. Anyways, for me, it's been I'm tired because I stayed up way too late last night, and I shouldn't have done that, and I should probably go to bed early tonight. But I spend too much time in the middle of the night messing with various cool little things and ordering Christmas presents for people. So,
and for me, I was traveling earlier in the week. Had to make a quick trip up to Atlanta, and back now. Just got back last night, so.
How long drive is that?
What's that?
Drive is a quick drive to Atlanta. Your states are so small over there. I just, you have to remind myself.
Yeah, quick flight up to
Flight.
Atlanta.
I thought I should drive.
Yeah, it's about an hour and 20-minute flight.
Oh, well, that's not so bad.
That's a third the distance from here to Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, also a flight includes an hour of trying to get in, get into the airport and get in there. So
an hour? You're talking you need to be there like 2 hours ahead of time.
I know. I'm being
the
generous.
Flight is an all-day affair.
Yeah, well, if you travel all the time like I do, highly recommend the TSA pre-check. It does speed it up a little bit.
Okay, so just really briefly, if we all sign up for the TSA pre-check, won't the problem just kind of continue as normal, since we'll all be the same?
No. The problem is the increased security.
I know.
And when you go through TSA pre, you get to go around that security. So we'll be back to the way it used to be when there weren't massive lines.
Right.
We could just get rid of that whole organization that has never actually done anything to justify their existence. But that's another podcast, so why don't we get into some news?
News about streaming stuff. Well, let's start with something fun. Hey, if you guys like Star Wars and you feel like I would like to spread the joy of Star Wars to my young friends who've never seen Star Wars before, but they don't know exactly how to get into it.
So you're talking like Clone Wars or the Rebels?
Actually, more about the original trilogy. The Star Wars guys have been making new original shorts that are based off of the original series in order to introduce characters in a cool new way. And I've only watched about 2 of them, but they are very funny, very short little introductions that provide a nice little view, and almost anime style view into the world that lets you get to an introduction to some of the characters. So it was a cute little thing. I wanted to put it on here just so people could see that, and if they're interested in it, they can kind of show anybody else who's really into Star Wars or wants to be into Star Wars.
I will be honest with you, when I saw this in the doc, I thought they were talking about animated clothing. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I had these shorts that they were a certain color when they were dry, but when you jumped into the pool, a pattern showed up,
Interesting.
OLED technology on your shorts, but I don't know. What age group is this aimed at?
It's aimed at a very young age group, so from 10 to tweens, I'm guessing, or even
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah, I mean, the URL is Star Wars Kids, right? So,
Yeah, the Star Wars Adventures have been available for a while. They did a series of similar but not directly related episodes for girls, and then they have a comic series called Star Wars Adventures as well. So Galaxy Adventures. No, the comic series is called Star Wars Adventures. This is Galaxy Adventures. So very similar art style to what the comic books are made. And they're definitely young child oriented, fairly easy to read. The kind of thing that, so for me, it was a debate of whether or not I let my 6-year-old watch Star Wars, right?
Mm.
My 11-year-old daughter was really interested in it, and I was okay with letting her watch the original series, and that slowly gets a little bit more violent towards the end, but it starts out, I mean, there's definitely violence, but it's not graphic in any way. It was a little bit more questionable for her at 8 or 9 when she was getting really into Star Wars, whether or not I would let her watch the original or like the new ones, the 1, 2, 3, because those were definitely more violent and more intense. I ended up letting her watch all of them, and she was able to handle it. And okay, my 6-year-old, I was more questionable. In the end, I was just like, screw it, it's Star Wars, I don't care. If it ruins my kid, then the kid needs to be ruined, because Star Wars is the best thing ever. No, I'm just kidding, but but you know, I figured she could handle it. She did okay, and she liked them enough. But these shows look really good. Very exciting.
Yeah, and it seems like that's what this aimed for, and the problem that it solves. You know, parents who are big fans of Star Wars gives them a way to introduce their small kids to Star Wars.
I just want to know, how long will it be before they do like a little kid version, as in like Muppet Babies? Or there's this trend of taking characters and then putting them together as like babies. Like I saw a commercial for Total Drama-Rama, which is a little kid version of the Total Drama franchise on Cartoon Network. And yeah, I don't know. Don't you guys want to see a toddler Chewie and a toddler Han?
There is a demographic out there that would just all over that. So
I'll be honest, if it's done at all well, I probably would enjoy it.
Alan 6666 says Star Wars babies coming soon. Yeah.
Aww. All right. We have a story here about Google that doing a lot of updates to the Google Home, the various things from Pretty Please to showing off what's going on with your Nest cameras. It was able now to do show off and have two-way conversations with it. Allows you to get a little bit more information about getting some lyrics and doing some more read-alongs. But the one thing I really wanted to talk about, something that almost would be the thing that basically makes the home devices so much better in every way, is that there's a new feature called Broadcast Replies, which is you can make a broadcast which sends a message out to every speaker in the house. At which point, so anybody at any of the speakers can say reply and say something back. It will send back a message to that original speaker. So
rather than to everybody.
Finally. This is the right way, and we tested it. It works. I was able to talk to my son, and he called for me, and I was able to reply directly to him for something, and it works brilliantly. So.
What happens if you get multiple people trying to respond back at the same time?
I actually don't know. That could be a good. Maybe you could have like multiple people reply back. That's a good point.
Yeah. Cool.
What do you want for dinner? And then a whole bunch of people respond back with pizza, hamburgers, spaghetti. It's like
ice cream.
Ice cream of course. Chocolate cake.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
So, if you are a user of Plex, you may have been using it as one of your music sources recently. Now, Plex is offering a Tidal integration, which is a musical service that has some high quality audio. Is one of their biggest features that they claim. They also offer a reduced rate if you sign up for Tidal through the Plex system, saving you up to $60 a year.
Okay, I think I might be a broken record, and I'm pretty sure I've asked this before, but what is Tidal?
It's not as popular as some of the other streaming services, but it's not one that's completely ignored either. It's a music sounds, trying to be high fidelity.
Oh, is this the Dr. Dre?
And it's the Dr. Dre one.
Not for
yeah, and also it happens to have a lot of exclusive artists, which are maybe not our demographic, but there are plenty of people who do like it. So
got it. Okay,
good for them.
It's the FUBU radio.
Pretty much. I mean, I think the big selling point, I mean, I've never tried it, but I think the big selling point was the fidelity of it, right? It's supposed to be higher fidelity than the other services.
I will keep snarky comment to myself.
This is like the first time.
Yep.
Oh my God! So I've got some. We've been having some interesting news about various Netflix shows being canceled by that are specifically the Marvel ones, and it was confirmed this week that they have also canceled Daredevil, which was already being worked on for a new season when the writer got the call saying, "Stop writing, it's done." But if there is the idea that it's not, that this is actually a move of Disney proper, and they are looking to cancel Daredevil on Netflix in order to move it directly to its own service, which is starting up sometime next year.
And we kind of called this a few months back when we talked about the rising tensions between Disney and Netflix. I don't think it's really a surprise to many people, because, I mean, Disney had said they want to take all of their stuff back and regain control. There was always a question of, since this was a joint partnership, how long it would go, and I didn't think it would go much longer. And yeah, so I'm not surprised. And
we did discuss this when Luke Cage and Iron Fist were canceled, and it made sense. Iron Fist never did particularly well, so none of us were surprised that got canceled. But the fact that Luke Cage got canceled kind of clued us all into the fact that this was clearly an end of the relationship between Marvel and Netflix because of the Disney having, starting their own channel and stuff. Daredevil is a really good show. I haven't seen the third season yet, but the first season was excellent. The second season was very good. And it is, in its own right, a good show, in my opinion. So it is something I hope they continue. I also really hope that whatever Disney's decisions that it makes don't hamstring it, right? Like, Netflix is really good about letting shows be what they need to be and not being too concerned about, rating or intensity or whatever, but letting writers and, production teams have a fair amount.
Unless you're Last Man Standing or Roseanne.
Yeah. I haven't watched either of them, so I've watched Last Man Standing. I haven't seen anything new. Did Netflix pick them up?
No, they went to Fox.
Oh, okay.
They're back. Then the new season's awesome. But
I guess my only question is, okay, so if Marvel, I mean, if Disney's going to continue this on, I mean, I know Disney's working on a channel or service offering that they're going to have coming out before too long, but then aren't they also have or supposed to have something for the Marvel universe, some sort of
You might
Marvel
be
channel
thinking
out
of
there.
you might be thinking of the one that DC announced. DC Universe has its
Yeah.
own
But
channel now.
I thought I read somewhere where that Marvel was going to do a similar thing.
So there was the rumor that they were going to be coming out with a Disney Plus, which is the name of the Disney service that they're going to come out with, and that would be mostly focused at the Disney properties that make sense to be aimed at the kids. And they already have an ESPN Plus, which would be focused on their sports, and there's the possibility of having something more adultish and or just that sci-fi fantasy style, Marvel and or Star Wars centric movie style possibility. And then of course, since they're buying a lot of the properties from Fox, that a lot of that stuff is kind of more not Disney-esque, might just stay in its own little branding for itself too. So who knows? We could have 5 or 6 different channels appear from Disney proper from this.
All I ask of Disney is, can we please retcon everything that happened in Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3 on and pick back up where Season 2 ended?
Which one was Season 3? Is that the one where they went
Season 3 is when they defeated Hydra and then got into the whole Inhumans thing, and the show just spun out of control. The first couple seasons were awesome, and then
they're not going to retcon it. They're actually going to continue one last season after the next Avengers movie.
Yeah, I gave up a couple seasons ago because it just got too, I don't know.
The very last season that they did was okay.
I don't remember what the show was, but they did announce that there was going to be a Marvel show for the Disney streaming service. Not its own service, but on the streaming service. And I'm not seeing it right off the bat, but they did announce at least one show, as well as, of course, several Star Wars shows.
The other thing I want to know is what happened to the show that they had announced previously about the people that clean up the scenes after those battles? Was it Damage Control or whatever? So like when the Avengers destroy a city, the people that have to come in after the fact and clean it all up.
Damage Control, something like that.
Yeah.
No.
I want to know what happened to that, because I was interested in that.
I bet that's going to be coming out with this new service that they come out.
Yeah,
obviously, right?
But it was like 4 years ago that they announced that one.
The comic is called Damage Control. I don't know if the show is going to be called that, but yes.
Yeah, so what happened to it?
Oh, I don't know. That's the truth.
Oh,
so
yeah, I was going to say, Al-Anon points out he doesn't even remember what the different seasons are. It's such a cluster fork of continuity. Though he does still love it. I fell off.
Yeah, they mentioned that there would be shows centering around Loki and the Scarlet Witch coming to the streaming service. So, I mean, there's definitely indications that Disney wants the Marvel characters to be part of their new streaming services. So, and like I said, they're doing the Star Wars shows and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
should be. I'm really excited for this. It sounds like they're trying to get everything together. Now, whether they can manage to produce things with the quality that Netflix has done, that's still yet to be seen.
It's not like Disney has a lot of resources.
Production quality won't be the issue. I mean writing quality from formulas, right? Like, one of the great things about the Netflix Marvel universe on Netflix was that they didn't really follow any, probably that I can think of, any formulas about how to make a superhero TV show or a superhero movie. They went they went out on a limb making those shows, and it, to a large extent, worked really well. And so the concern I have, and this is the concern that everybody has with Disney, is, are they going to get too formulaic? There's indications that maybe that's what they're doing with Star Wars. The last movie, in my opinion, is kind of, I enjoyed it, but it was kind of followed some patterns that indicate maybe it was
the last movie, Solo.
No, The Last Jedi. It was more engineered to be a blockbuster than written from the perspective of making a great movie.
Well, actually, I remember The Last Jedi, and it did not come up. I'm sorry, we're tangenting here just a little bit. But no, Last Jedi broke a lot of the normalities that we've been seeing in Star Wars, and on purpose tried to, demonize your heroes and tried to make you let go of things that you wanted to be true, and it was trying to get you outside of that box that felt formulaic, even though we kind of wanted the formula and complained about it a little bit. But actually, it seems like The Last Jedi was trying to break the formula more than anything.
What I was trying to indicate was that they weren't focusing on writing a good story. That they were focusing on making a movie based on a perceived formula for making money. Not the Star Wars formula necessarily, but we can definitely have multitudes of debates about and discussions about Star Wars movies.
And most of them have been had, but we can continue having more if you wish.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the old story of Star Wars is just good versus evil. I mean, that's really the basis of the whole thing.
So Star Wars, that's the guy with the ears and the hand thing, right?
That's right.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah. Okay.
So Hulu Live has gotten access to the Discovery channels. This is the same Discovery channel, some of them, as we saw come up on Sling TV last week. So it looks like Discovery has decided to allow anybody who's willing to pay for it to add their channels to their various streaming platforms, which makes me very happy, because for a while there, they weren't on anything, and there was a couple channels that I really wanted that were on part of that.
It's a smart move on behalf of Discovery, because you want to be all the places.
Right.
I'm starting to suspect that maybe Discovery had some language in some of their contracts previously that kept them from being able to do this, because all of a sudden in the last few months they've just got on board with everybody, whereas before they were with nobody, right? I suspect that there was something that kind of kept them from getting on streaming services in their contracts, and those finally expired. And
that's a possibility.
Well, there's also the option that they intentionally created scarcity to increase demand, because if you remember, in the early days of Sling and PSVU, they were available, and then they left. They left pretty much everywhere except for like Philo, which is
their
owned by them, yeah. And so I think that they may have, you've always got this back and forth of, hey, we want this much money, no, we're not willing to pay it, well, we're gonna leave. You got that game of chicken, well, go ahead and leave, we won't miss you. And then
you can buy us now.
Well, it's a matter of who caved. Did Discovery cave and say, okay, fine, we're happy with what we had? Or did the other services say, okay, fine, we will agree to your higher terms? Or, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, since neither Sling nor Discovery, Hulu raised their prices with this announcement, I'm going to guess that either the contract is up and they could now be made available to the other system, like Michael says, or they caved.
Yeah, they might
Discovery.
Have, so.
That's probably what happened. One of those two. Which is fine, because, that means we get more access to it.
As long as Matt gets his Discovery.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have, as last week, Nazis and Sharks. All right, so if you guys just bought yourself a 4K TV, sorry, don't mean to ruin your day, but 8K is now broadcasting in Japan. So Japan has gotten their new 8K over-the-air technology working. They've been pushing hard to get this ready to work for their new for the Olympics in 2020. So they've now got it up and running in certain areas, and they have broadcast their first movie in 8K, which was 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they're going to be putting the Olympics on this as well. So if you want to live in Japan, you can get 8K, and if you ask me, skip 4K, skip 8K, go straight to 16K.
Well, I'm still of the same mindset of don't wait for the thing that's coming, because by the time you're ready to pull the triggers, something else will be coming. So buy the thing that you can justify spending the money for now, and then 8K has dropped in price, so it's down now, more
4K.
affordable. 6K,
You mean 8K?
6,000.
6K? Oh,
No, $6,000. I mean, 8K is available in the U.S. There are several companies that have. So I mean, they've been showing 8K screens at like CES for the last 4 years. I'm honestly not. I'm surprised by the announcement that Japan is broadcasting 8K, but I'm not surprised. I'm surprised by everybody else's surprise about 8K being available, because it's been around for years.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first times I saw it at a Chang Hong booth, and it was just like, wow.
so you guys saw it, obviously.
Mhm.
You've seen 8K.
Mhm.
Is it really that big a difference?
With the right content, yes.
And the right size, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
So, just like, if you went certain size with a monitor, you might as well go up to 4K, and so there's going to be a certain size you should probably go
Yeah,
to, and you
and,
might as well
you
go
know,
8K.
yeah,
So-
Samsung only offers one size of 8K TV. You can buy a Samsung 8K OLED TV. It's $15,000. It's 85 inches, right? So
Okay,
that 85 inches is, in my opinion, probably borderline to whether or not it would be worth having 8K at that size.
Yeah.
I'll let Clyde go, because I think he was going to say what
Yeah, I
else.
was going to say, because in it's kind of the rule of thumb that I go by, that if it's smaller than 50, you don't need 4K. Anything above 50 is up to probably about 80 inches. 4K will be suitable. Anything over 80, you're gonna want an 8K. I mean, and you get a little bit of wiggle room, maybe 70, go down to 70 but yeah, I don't see I don't think you'll see the difference at the smaller sizes. And yes, it is great that we are referring to 70 and 80 inches as a smaller size.
I noticed.
I love that. But I mean, yeah, it's just the way that the pixels are laid out, that at a certain point, that you start to notice the spread, the distance between the pixels, they start to separate visually. And that's the point that you can't, that you don't want to. So imagine, I know people that bought a 1080p 80-inch TV, and it was.
If you sat far enough back, it looked great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the trick. Like, it's all about viewing distance and size, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at a Jumbotron TV in the football stadium, it actually looks pretty decent, right? But if you get within 20 feet of it, the pixels are like
The pixels are
an
like
inch
that big.
across, right?
Right.
And I have a 4K TV sitting 8 feet away from me, and it's maybe not even 8 feet. When I sit in my chair back here, it's 8 feet, and it looks great. It's a 50-inch TV. If I sat this close, when I sit this close, I still can't see pixelation at 4K 50 inches, even 6 feet away. If I sit 3 feet away, I can see the pixels, even on a 4K 50-inch TV. Downstairs, I'm a 55-inch, and I sit about 13 feet away. I can't see the pixels, right? If I have a 4K 96-inch TV, I'm going to see pixels. But if I sit 13 feet back, I'm not, right? And so it all is a measure of like the viewing scenario that you have for your room. If you're sitting 10 or 15 feet back from your TV in your living room, then you can get away with a really big TV at a lower resolution. At CES, the 96-inch 8K TVs, you could get within a foot and not see the pixels.
Oh, there was the one that was, I want to say it was only like 70, but I put my face right up to it and I couldn't see any pixels.
Yeah.
Because I mean the 8K pixel density is so great. But
yeah.
But that's also down in the lower end where 1080, not 1080, but 4K, you're still gonna have a, similar experience. But, Alanon asked, is this my dream of a screen the size of a wall? 8K is getting closer to that. They already have that option with Sony's Cletus, which we saw 2 years ago. It's still a terrible name, which are the individual OLED panels that you can, just buy a bunch of them and you stick them together to make whatever size screen you want. There's not borderless yet, but we're getting there. I don't know if I would ever want to buy a single screen that is the size of the wall. Because one pixel goes, now your entire wall is destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but I mean, how far away would you have to sit, right?
Well,
you'd have to sit.
You don't have to.
Well, it all depends on what you're trying to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, it all depends on the viewing scenario. One of the things, like the Cletus TV system that Sony built, it's not intended for home use, for setting up a home theater. Now, you could certainly do that if you had enough money.
You could.
It's intended for commercial installations, so you can have a 40-foot long screen that's 10 feet high, and you can have all kinds of interesting stuff happening across that unusual aspect ratio based on stuff that was made for the scenario, right?
Yeah. Panasonic also has those specific offerings, like for round columns or along walkways, in your stadium or whatever. And but yeah, I mean, we're getting there.
I'm sorry, I still remember watching movies on VHS on the big old 32-inch screen with my family would all sit around it.
Gigantic.
They were, and they look just fine to me. So,
I can remember black and white on 15-inch screen.
I watched a black and white TV for most of my life just because there was one in the garage, and I was able to take it and put it in my bedroom, and nobody yelled at me.
Aww.
Yeah.
So looks like we're getting some cross compatibility going on between some vendors. We got the first one here. We have that Amazon Music is going to be coming to the Android TV. So with soon, you'll be able to, if you are an Amazon Music subscriber, you will be able to use your Android TV to bring up your music, which is a nice little start for.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. And related, we also have Apple Music, which is going to be allowing you to play their music on your Echo, which is also pretty, kind of cool that, this is kind of happening. And on top of that, you also have Apple Music also coming to your Android tablets, because apparently they never really supported the tablets before. So what's going on here? Why is everybody doing everything with everybody else? I'm just not used to this anymore. This just used to be, various companies saying, no, you will do it our way and on our product, and that's it. We are siloed. You can't do this anymore. I don't understand this. This doesn't make sense to me. Somebody tell me what's going on here.
So I have to ask, Android TV isn't getting Amazon Music. Did they ever get Amazon Prime? Because last I remembered, it still wasn't available. It was only on the NVIDIA Shield.
Correct. On the NVIDIA Shield, you can get it. Other than that, no, you cannot. I know. And I'm willing to bet bucks that that is totally, completely Amazon saying, nope, we're not supporting that platform.
No, that's the thing with with Android TV, is
Right.
if a app doesn't exist, it's because the person that owns that product chose not
Right.
to make an app. There is no restriction. Yeah.
Still, it does pose the question. I mean, it is interesting how they're going to cross ecosystems here with their services, right? I mean, yeah, it does make you sit and wonder, okay, well, why is this? You know, because, you know, there had never been any kind of mention of this, you know,
that's my point.
until here recently.
And
right?
that's my point, is why are they saying okay to Amazon Music, but they're still not allowing Prime Video?
So Amazon has and Apple in particular, those two have been getting a little bit more cozy together, allowing various products on each other's services. So it's possible, and again, it hurts my head, not because I don't want it to be true. I actually do want it to be true, but it doesn't make sense that it might be true. It's possible that they're actually starting to port stuff to different platforms. Ugh, it's weird to say.
Well, I think one of the things that's probably at play here is the fact that with Amazon Music, the intention isn't to be purchasing stuff, right? You subscribe probably through your Amazon account. You probably won't have the ability to subscribe on the Apple devices.
That's probably right.
And so you subscribe through your Amazon account, you've got your subscription and stuff. There's no financial transactions occurring, so Apple doesn't have to take their cut for anything. You can listen to your music on your Apple device or whatever, and then you can take that subscription and stuff. With Prime Video, a large part of that is getting you used to purchasing and dealing with stuff in Prime and through Amazon, so that when you do want to buy a movie, like the other day I wanted to watch a movie, I just go ahead and click and buy it and whatever, no big deal. It's already there. You're already dealing with that ecosystem. You're using whatever device you're using and interacting with that. Now, if I do that on an Android TV through the Play Store, Google's going to take their cut, right? And I keep saying Apple, but
It's all right.
mean Google, right? Through the Play Store, they're going to take a cut. And so you've got all of these issues. The confusing part is Apple putting their stuff on the Echo, and it's like, all these things, right? But I think that's really largely what's going on here is nobody has to give a cut, because these are subscription services you're probably already subscribed to, and they're not giving a cut to the other device manufacturers for their store.
Right.
So when you get Prime Video on the Android TV, not until Google decides that the Google Play Store doesn't need to take a cut for.
Well, I mean, it's on the Android phones.
Yeah, you have to
the same app.
sideload it.
It's
You have to
exactly, yeah, and you can
have to
do that. You can do that on Android TV too. That's the whole
Yep.
point of Android.
Oh.
The whole point of Android TV is it is the same OS. There's just a couple lines of code that dictate that it's lean back or lean forward. You know, whether or
Right.
not you can use a remote.
Okay.
So
yeah, if you wanted to do the same thing that you do on your phone, it would take more than just a clickable.
it's really easy though.
Yeah, so I think maybe it's just a perceived barrier to utilization and to entry that's keeping them from doing that.
Yeah, they
With the
just-
phone, it's no big deal. You go to the website, you download the app from Amazon's website, and you don't have to go through the Play Store, right? And that's the key for Amazon, is not having to go through the Play Store.
Exactly.
No.
And, yeah, it's just they made a conscious decision to allow it on the phone, but not on the Android TV, and it's going on 6 years now that they've
Right.
refused to do it. So that was my frustration. Yeah.
Related to the Google gets their cut comment is, but it's kind of only barely related, but it comes back to it. There's the story that's also been out, the fact that there's now a game Play Store for by Epic, and Epic has decided not to charge 30% but to charge only 12% for all their things that they're going to be doing. And the possibility is that this could be the beginning of a cascading effect where everybody's going to be competing on prices of how much they take out of the various downloaded media. So we could see things like various TV shows and TV stores and things like that taking less out of their cuts out of these things.
And that makes sense to me, right? Because the people who provide these kind of services, their technology cost to serve up that service goes down every year.
That's true.
Right? So then they can afford to cut that cost down and still maintain margins.
So the
Unless
question
they're
becomes,
a publicly traded company where their main responsibility is to increase profits for the shareholders.
Well, okay, now that we have the very first company that has undercut them so much, then their profits will go down because they have a competition. So in order to continue making money and earn money for their shareholders, they will have to cut their prices as well. That's how competition actually does affect the bottom line for everybody.
All for competition.
So there's the question, though. What do you think about if Amazon could do the exact same thing, but they had a much lower cut? If it was 12%, do you think Amazon would still do it, or no?
Amazon is, they are kind of the poster child for throwing away money. So I don't think they would have an issue with that. But
so you think that if they went down low enough, Amazon would still go ahead and say, okay, we'll go on your store now. We'll go ahead and use your store for our service?
Well, so I think Amazon's an interesting beast because of the size and the power and the money that they have, right? So there's no justification for them to get on the Android store if they can compete
with their own store.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they have their own store, so that's true.
See, that's the thing Epic doesn't have. They don't have their own ecosystem outside of the games. So,
but they're going to, and that's the thing, and they're only going to charge 12%.
Epic's if Epic succeeds
in changing the industry,
then I mean, if Epic's store is successful, it will have a major impact on the industry. The question is, can they get to that critical mass necessary to have that happen? Because they currently basically have one game, right? It's Fortnite. Now, that is a hugely popular game, and so that can potentially drive some inroads by itself. But it's once they start getting other apps going in that store and other customers that are high-quality apps. I mean, this is why the Microsoft store failed, right? Like, because they never got high-quality apps, enough high-quality apps to be a viable solution. I mean, it's not the only reason, but it is a part of the reason. Right. And if Epic can get there, can get enough apps that people are willing to even bother downloading it or making the conscious decision to go away from the default. So this is the trick here. Like, this is the challenge. Is, if you want Fortnite, you go download Epic, but you still have to go back to that app store to buy other apps. And the default behavior that everybody is accustomed to is is the Apple Store and Google Play. Even Amazon's store has done relatively miserably compared to those other two stores because people don't get used to changing their behavior.
I was going to mention that several years ago, Amazon launched their own Android store in competition with the Google.
Still there.
Play. It's still there. I tried using it for a while, and they even went as far as giving away a free paid app every day, and even that wasn't enough for me to jump through the hoops to use it.
Yeah,
and
I tried for a while to remember to log in to check the apps. It just was too much work, and so it's you have to provide a super compelling solution to justify people changing their behaviors. We are all lazy people.
That's right.
To our routines, and we go with them. And you don't give me a good reason, I'm not going to work hard to find your solution.
All
Agreed.
right. So, do anybody here remember? We've talked about it a couple times. This service called Facebook Watch.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a
Does it
streaming
tell-
service.
Does it tell
That's
time?
that's an upcoming
Yeah.
service that doesn't exist yet, right?
No, it's been out for a while, and it's a streaming service where you can, watch shows, believe it or not. And so they've started doing a new thing where they've been taking some pretty popular shows that are probably available for anybody and everybody to stream for their own fee. Shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and Firefly, and have them streaming on at specific times to be appointment viewing, so you can watch it with your friends on Facebook. So this sounds kind of like something else that happens once a month on Saturdays or Sundays, where people get together and watch something. Anybody idea what that might be?
No clue.
Okay. Never mind.
Oh, unless you're talking about the Diamond Club movie party.
Yes,
we'll
yes,
talk about
that's
that
it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
You guys are gonna
I
have
do
to
know
sue.
about that thing.
you're gonna have to sue Facebook about.
Yeah, they
You
told
and
me.
your
Well, so instead of watching crappy movies, they're watching crappy TV shows.
Right.
Shots fired, Firefly.
Yeah.
No,
Unfortunately, I don't own the stream, so I can't just delete you from the stream right now for saying such heresy. Heresy.
No, I actually I like the idea of having a place where you can get on with your friends and watch a show. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. And there's something's missing. Oh well.
he
Don't know
couldn't
what.
do it, so I did it.
No, but it's the thing is that these shows are actually pretty decent choices to start with. I don't know. I didn't find out in the story here. Are you allowed to start your own stream at your own time and with your friends watch it, or do you have to watch it when they're streaming?
No, I believe it's available. So the time that they have listed is for their event. So, like, if you wanted to watch it with Nathan Fillion, then you would need to show up at a specific time, because he's not going to be there waiting all day for people to just show up. But if you have your own party, a group of people, you would be able to kick off the stream at a specific time, and yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. So you just have to use one of their shows that they've already gotten permission to use.
Exactly.
So I don't know how popular this is going to end up being, as Facebook Watch. But would you like to see this maybe available on other services? If it was available on a Hulu, would you think of doing something like this as well? Do you think this is something other streaming services
Always
should adopt?
looking for a better way to do it without living too deep into the gray. But yeah, it's fun. I will absolutely rave about the virtues of this type of watching.
I wonder why.
It's pretty much the only reason I watch movies every month. But yeah, I don't know. Whether or not when you get a company that tries to monetize it, that's when it starts getting wonky, because it's not about the fun, it's about the money. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think about this.
Okay.
I'm interested in the concept. I like both of the shows. I was a big fan of Firefly. I enjoyed Buffy a bit. So these are kind of interesting. I can imagine watching some of these shows with friends, but the problem is, for me, it's a social endeavor, and I'm an inherently unsocial person, so
Can
I probably would never do any of these things. But conceptually, it's very interesting to me.
Can I complain about this article, though? Engadget, seriously, get your act together. The headline says, Buffy the Vampire Slayer comes to Facebook Watch. I looked at that picture and I went, those are not the people I would imagine or Buffy looked like. And then it took me a minute to realize, oh wait, that's Firefly.
Angel and Firefly 2 is the subtitle, but yes.
Yeah, but
It's a little silly that they didn't put a picture to match the headline.
Yeah.
So I'm just realizing that this is actually Wii TV. That's what this is. This is Nintendo trying to do this. Except for what we're seeing here with the Facebook Watch is that
we like WII, not
Yes.
WE as in Women's Entertainment TV, which is
No,
an actual
not women's
station.
No, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, for a while when they first launched the Wii U, they wanted to have ability for you to watch TV and at the same time have the device in your hand so you could chat with other people while you're watching it live. And it would work with all kinds of different shows. It was a feature before its time that nobody used. So it's the same idea. But actually, if you ask me, I like that idea better than this, because this requires you to watch it on either a tablet or on a on monitor screen. And while that's fine if you're going to be doing some real serious social interaction on it, but if you're mostly there to watch the show, I want to watch it on my big screen TV. And if I want to look down and go, haha, that was funny, great. But yeah, I don't know. I think this needs more tweaking before it's perfect or even close. All right, last story for the week is Hulu has gotten more has paid for the Funimation company to get an exclusive rights to their shows on the Hulu's network. Basically, it's they've decided that if it's a Funimation made program, you need to go to Hulu first to get it, which has continued to squeeze more and more anime shows out of Crunchyroll.
Well, Funimation and Crunchyroll ended their relationship a couple months back. Yeah.
And Amazon's picked up some of it. They now have some of that of the stuff that was on Crunchyroll went to Amazon, and now that looks like the Funimation stuff is now officially exclusively Hulu. So
if this had happened 6 months ago, I would be super excited about this. But since then, I found the Funimation streaming app, which is $5 a month, and that's all I need. I don't, because the way Hulu handles the anime is annoying, especially if it's something that's available in both dub and sub. They don't put them in separate streams, so you've got dub sub, and then you have to keep track of which one, because then you start up the wrong one, and then it's like, and you have to sit through stuff again. So if you're an anime fan, I highly recommend just getting the subscription to the Funimation, because it keeps track. It asks you, do you prefer dub? Do you prefer sub? What are your preferences? And then it will only, like, when you search for an anime, it will only show you what you actually wanted if there's an option. Hulu doesn't, but if you're just casual, then maybe this is a good thing. So, more of anything on any service is always a good thing. So, rock on.
All right, and one more story. Actually, breaking news brought to us by Media King 909. If you are on Comcast service and have an Xfinity X1 box, you can now watch Amazon Prime directly from the box. It's actually a feature that I think they were saying was coming. They also have the Netflix channel on there directly on the box. It seems like Comcast is thinking, if we want you to be paying for our service and you want to watch something on something else, we'll give you access to it. But when you quit, we want you to come back to our interface so that you can remember why you pay $100 a month for us.
All right, rock on.
Thank you, Media King 909.
Sweet.
And you too can report from the field if you want anytime.
Absolutely, we'll take those. All right. Well, at this point, we should probably check in with the Big Boys Jay, see where we're at with the movie draft.
Welcome to your Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of December 3rd, 2018. I'm your host, Big Boys Jay. If you see someone in the office flavoring their coffee with eggnog, trust me, that guy jingles. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Movie Party's in last place with $96.7 million. Team Drunk Kids Gaming falls to 5th place with $216.6 million. Team VOD Squad moves up to 4th place with $227.3 million. Team Game Night maintains 3rd place with $316.3 million. Team Have a Drink is in 2nd place with $380 million. And in 1st place with $393.6 million, it's Team Retro Misery. That's your Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of December 5th, 2018.
All I gotta say, I got one more week, and then it's 400 million for me, and straight to the top.
Yeah, well, you have been enjoying last place. You're really totally coming in from behind here, so you need to do something.
That's the way I like it. Always coming in from behind.
Well, next weekend, no, not next week. We still have another full week before we see anything happening. So we're gonna still see how far these movies that we've been dealing with the last couple of weeks, how many more, much more money they can be squeezed out of. I have been completely surprised about how much money the movie, where is it, The Grinch. The Grinch has just skyrocketed for Team Have a Drink, so they have done very well with that movie there, and it seems to not be slowing down at all.
And I will
we'll
say,
be set. We'll be set as soon as Robin Hood comes out.
It already came out.
22 million.
No, I knew that.
Hey,
it doesn't even move the number.
It managed to beat Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah.
By many accounts, was an amazing movie.
Hey, I'm just glad it put us in 4th place.
By many accounts, it was an amazing movie. That means all of Clyde's personalities thought it was an amazing movie.
Yep.
Unfortunately for you and yourselves were the only ones.
Oh, I know. Al-Anon, I think, backs me up.
So all I've got to say is that even though we've technically made more money than you with Robin Hood, we still have not made more money per game dollar spent than you on Robin Hood versus Bad Times at the El Royale. Although we're close, and since basically Bad Times is done, and we might get another million or 2 or 3 out of it for this next weekend, since there isn't anything else to see. People are like, well, we've already seen everything else. Let's go see this Robin Hood thing. Put their money in and walk out 5 minutes later. We get that cash, so it's all good. So we might be able to beat you on that movie value number there, but not counting much on that. Ralph Breaks the Internet still doing very well. Creed 2 and is still making good numbers. So we're seeing some very, very, very. I mean, it's still, all the numbers look so low compared to our summer numbers last year, but
yeah,
it's impressive that this list how it's changing on. Next week, when we get Mortal Engines and Spider-Man, we get to find out whether or not Ritual Misery, or if
people are going crazy about that Spider-Man. So
the reviews are out and people are loving it. So,
and when people were talking about Spider-Ham, I thought they were talking about Spider-Pig from the Simpsons, which I hope makes an appearance. But no. I didn't know about the pig version of Spider-Man. That there is actually a canon
thing.
So, yeah, Peter Porker. So, yeah, it's apparently. I think it also features the Japanese giant robot Spider-Man that
it does.
Is infamous, that Brian Brushwood likes to bring up. It's from like the 70s in Japan. Okay. They did their own version of Spider-Man. It's a giant robot. So yeah,
but there's only one problem, and you haven't seen it yet, so the curse hasn't officially touched it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like it, it's going to fail.
Which why I'm not going to go see it.
Ah, perfect.
I don't have Cinemi, I don't have Movie Pass. I have no reason to go see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can now declare an early winner of the movie draft. Our records are showing the Movie Party will win the movie draft. This is called science. You can't get it wrong. So
I can point to on this list every movie that I saw and whether I liked it. Because everything I saw that I liked tanked.
Did you go see Johnny English Strikes Again?
I did not, because we already knew that one is.
Yeah,
That's the exception that proves the rule.
yeah. I do think that, as you indicated, like you have a really solid chance now based on Spider-Man. It's interesting because last movie party, we had one movie that opening weekend profited more than any of the other movies combined up to this point. I mean, Avengers did like 256 million on its opening weekend, and so that opening weekend beat out the full run of any other movie,
Except for my movies.
right. Well, no, but just
so far.
I got you on the
So
compared to
individual
our
level.
current
Yeah.
list.
Yes, individually.
Replicas would have destroyed it had they not moved it.
You mean never released it, right?
Yeah, they moved it to the trash can
Oh,
or the shelf where Cabin in the Woods sat for 7 years.
Yeah.
Well, so our chances are actually looking at this pretty slim, but we have a chance of winning. Here's our chance, and here's how it looks. Aquaman does not perform very well. Bumblebee does not perform very well. Mary Poppins does okay, but not great. And then Vice basically does amazingly. And then everybody, all the ladies go to see Serenity for opening weekend. I don't know if it's gonna. I really don't know if it's gonna.
How many? Okay, I'm gonna over under. How many people do you think are gonna go out and see Serenity and be pissed because it's not Firefly?
9% of the
Okay.
people. I'm going to say 9% of parties. Because I'm going to get back to, if we're just talking about number of people total, it's going to be lower than that. But parties, so if you have a party of two, boy and girl go to the movie because hey, we're going to go to the movie and go see Serenity. Boy doesn't realize it's the wrong movie.
Here's the thing. Even if you go to that movie knowing that it's not Firefly, two things are going to happen. First of all, you're probably going to be pissed that it's not.
Exactly. Never
Even
mind.
though you knew it wasn't. And second of all, if you hate the movie, and that's regardless of whether or not you like the movie, and if the movie is really bad, you're going to be really pissed that you're not sitting at home watching Firefly.
So what? Wait a minute. What was that story? What week is it that Firefly is playing on Facebook?
Right now.
Right now.
Okay. Will it keep playing until when Serenity is released?
Good question.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Because if it does, maybe that percentage will go up higher. Maybe we'll stand a better chance that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Al-Anon says the number is enough. That's how many. And I agree.
Greater than or equal to 1.
All right. Hey, let's go ahead and move on. We should probably start wrapping this thing up. We're coming up on an hour, so rants, raves. What you guys got? Anybody? Going once? Going twice?
I'll go first. So I never have subscribed to the CBS All Access, but I did want to watch Star Trek Discovery. So I went and bought it off of iTunes this past week, and I'm the 3rd episode in, and I have to say, man, it is great, right? If you've not watched Star Trek Discovery, either subscribe to CBS All Access to watch it, or do like I did and buy it from like either iTunes or Amazon, and watch it that way. It is really well done.
Is that the one with the big fuzzy guy or the little fuzzy guys? I know they both have a fuzzy guy of some sort.
Must be the big fuzzy guy, I think. I'm only 3 episodes into it, so.
Well, I'm still contemplating whether or not I want to pay to watch that. I'm quite frankly, CBS All Access is still something that just seems like the wrong thing for me. But I might end up going to watch it now. Is it something I can watch with my kid in the room, or should I be watching it with when after hours?
How old are your kids?
He's going to be 14 next year.
Oh, I think he would be fine. I mean, there's nothing. There is a little bit of violence in it.
But
violence,
no
okay.
gratuitous,
There's a little bit of violence,
nakedness
but no nudity or anything like that.
It's got Klingon stabbing people through chests with giant blades, right?
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
There you go. That's what I expect. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Some language.
but yeah, it's really a good show. And also, too, the other thing that I'll mention is that I am now an OLED TV owner.
Ooh.
So I went out on Black Friday.
1%.
Yeah. And bought the LG OLED television. That's the C8 series television, 65-inch.
Nice.
And I have to say, Michael, you are right. 4K does make a difference, right? So, and I guess that makes me the second one of us now that
so
actually owns a 4K
I take that back.
television.
It's not 1%. You are now the 50%. Because the two of you have your 4K TVs.
'Cause we are a perfect representation of the population.
No. I'm talking on our show. You are the 50%.
Well, very likely the next TV I buy will be a 4K, only because
Why wouldn't it be?
why
Well,
would because that's the price. So I could buy the 1080p one for $20 less, or I could buy the 4K one for $20 more.
Yeah, I
buy the 4K.
almost pulled the trigger on a 60-inch TCL 4K. It was like $370.
Yeah, no, it's
It was
ridiculous.
I ended up buying something else instead, and then I'm now going, I should have just bought that TV. But,
And
I've got
just for the viewers out there too, I do plan on making a video, kind of reviewing the TV, showing it off and all, and hopefully maybe I'll have it put together for next show. And if things get in the way where I don't get it for the next show, then certainly by the next show after that.
Sweet.
all right.
I'm just gonna say that we after a little hiatus for holidays, we finally got back and finished Star Trek Enterprise. Me and my wife. Obviously, we are at the point in the series where I did not remember anything that happened in the series because it's like, oh yeah, this is all stuff I don't remember. This series, the last season, was very good. I totally enjoyed it. I thought that it was very well done, and lots of interesting things were happening. In particular, we started getting really invested in a couple characters, T'Pol and Trip. So and then in the very last episode, it became perfectly clear. The last episode, yeah, sorry, we're going to give you one more episode, but your series is done. We're not going to give you another season, because they basically just threw all the stuff that they've been working on in the trash, and made an acceptable ending, and it was kind of anticlimactic.
Was that the one where they couldn't afford like an actual doctor, so they used a video doctor?
No.
Wasn't okay.
But no, it just seemed like that series, which I really was enjoying a lot, just kind of died at the end there, a little bit in a kind of a sad way of ending it. It was not exciting. It did not feel good, that ending. It felt like, okay, it's an ending, I guess. It just makes it sad for me.
Kind of like the TV show Lost, huh?
Never watched Lost. Never. I saw that when that show came out, I was realized the people around me were getting lost, and then I was so I was like, okay, well, that's one of those series that apparently I'd have to really pay attention to
Yeah, that was one
and
of
so
those.
then I heard people starting complaining that they were screwing things up, and then I was like, oh well, we'll see. I'm the kind of guy that will actually wait until it's gone through its entire thing before I say, well, people said it was really good all the way till the end. I'll watch it. And then I heard way too many people say the ending sucked.
Oh, I love the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hail to the Chief
Well,
says she got lost and lost.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
It was overall, it was a good show.
It had some good seasons.
Yeah, the
but
first
not every
three.
season.
Yeah, the first 3 or 4 seasons were probably better than the last, 2 or 3 seasons, right?
I would go as far as to say I loved season 1. I hated season 2. That was when they introduced the second group of people.
Right.
Absolutely hated those people in that season. Season 3 kind of pulled it back, and then there was a couple seasons in there that were kind of just meandered off, and I thought they ended it well.
Yeah.
No, I liked the ending. I thought it was fitting, and it was exactly what I assumed it was going to be from the very beginning. So I liked how they got there. All right. Well, go ahead.
I was I don't have a lot to say because I didn't get to watch much, or do much. But I was reminded just how glad I am to be a cord cutter and to not be dealing with cable or satellite dish networks anymore. My dad called the other day. He was unhappy with DirecTV, who he has right now, because something went wrong with his cable box, and they came out, and it took him several trips to get everything functional again. So he was without TV for like 2 days. And he mentioned to me, and I wasn't even aware that this existed, that apparently the repairman extolled how good of a thing it was that he had the protection plan on his hardware. And apparently this is a thing that they've got on there. They are charging him, and several other, and my sister as well, and I suspect probably a lot more people, insurance on the hardware that you're renting from them. As if you should be paying insurance on rental stuff that sits on a shelf and doesn't move. Like, if you were carrying it around and could potentially drop it or spill on it, that would make sense. But if that thing fails, it's because it's a piece of garbage, not because you broke it. And he was the repairman was making it sound like they would have had to pay to get this resolved. And they probably would have had to pay the repairman to come out. Would have had to pay a service fee. But I told my dad, I said, you can always just drop that equipment off at their local place and pick up the new stuff. At least that works for all of the cable companies and phone companies. So I don't know, maybe DirecTV doesn't offer that. But if they don't, they should. Just horrible pattern of behavior that you would charge a insurance on equipment that you're renting to somebody.
Yeah.
$10 a month.
Any way to make a buck.
Total insanity.
Almost like charging mortgage insurance, isn't it?
All right. Hey, my rave for this week is that we have begun the 2018 Cage Match.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not aware, it has been decided that from now forward for the Diamond Club Movie Party, January will officially be Nicolas Cage month. So leading up to January, we need to determine. We've got 16 movies in a traditional tournament bracket, open to the public. Go out and vote. That is YOLO 420. I'll put it in the chat, but it's YOLO420.com/Cage Match 2018. So the first round started this week, and a new round will start every Monday leading up to the New Year's Eve stream where we will make the official announcement of what we will be watching. That being said, also, we will be having our official December movie party on the 15th. So that's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Check Twitter at DC Movie Party for the official poll should go up on Monday the 10th. We are rewatching Christmas Horror Story, starring William Shatner, by popular request.
That was a good one.
And then currently the options that the patrons are deciding on, the top 4 will go to Twitter for the public poll, but we're looking at Mother Krampus, Rare Export, Dead Snow, The Elf, not Elf, but The Elf, which is a horror movie, and then a couple others that I can't think of off the top of my head.
So wait a second. There's a movie which we all are aware of, starring William Ferrell, called Elf, which is kind of beloved by many people. And then there's a horror film called The Elf.
Mm-hmm.
I see an opportunity for people to prank people here. Hey, come over to the house. We're going to watch The Elf. Oh, I love that movie. Okay, put it on. You press play.
Oh, why would you put that on? Why would you put that on?
Oh, they already started it. It's in the middle. It's okay. Just press play. Yeah. Well, I think we forgot to mention something.
Oh no, our bracket is gone.
What bracket?
The cage match. It's gone.
Oh. No. That's not good.
Okay, now I have a rant, but we'll save that for later.
I'm sitting there trying to open it up myself.
Okay. Crap. All right. We'll have to figure something else out. So
Come visit that at another time when it works.
yeah. All right. This is. Oh, and we skipped our favorite part, where we like to thank the people that help us make this show possible every week, the patrons. So those of you that are supporting us financially every month, your payments have gone through. Today is the day where payments get sent out, and for that we are eternally grateful, and we love you, and we look forward to providing you good service going forward. If you are not currently a patron, one of the perks is that you get a audio version of this feed. So if you can't join us live and you prefer listening in your car, you get a custom RSS feed from Patreon, so you don't even have to worry about it. You just download it. It will always be there. You will always get the new episode. And also you get custom access within the Discord server and stuff like that. But yeah, so if you are not...
And also,
okay,
you're our boss. You get a boss.
Oh yeah, you get a boss.
Yeah.
You get.
I don't think there's a single thing that anybody has said that they wanted us to do. I mean, there's maybe not. Maybe there are some limits to it, but for the most part, they ask for something, we do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
I mean, that's how we got the Discord. One of the patrons said, "Hey, why don't we have a Discord?" Okay, and by the end of the show, it was set up. So, bark like a dog, woof woof woof. But see, there you go. All right, and if you are watching this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night. Oh, bad weave?
No, I said reasonable.
No, we'll talk about that in the after show. We'll talk about it in the after show. It's not that I dislike it. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We're gonna head over to the after show. So if you're watching this live, stick around. We got titles to vote on, all kinds of fun stuff. If you're watching this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central, and on Twitch. Come join us. It's where the magic happens. And I'm gonna end this so that we can address the patron requests. Thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
We'll see you next week.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.